After our recent video about builders panicking over all the market changes, we had a lot of comments from our viewers wondering what the process is like to build a new construction house. On today's video, we're going to take you through that process and give you some pitfalls you need to watch out for. Hello everyone, this is Chris Morton, real estate broker with eXp Realty in Raleigh, North Carolina. And there's some really good reasons why you would want to consider building a new construction home. First one being, there's very much less competition. Most people don't have the patience to wait 6 months, 9 months, a year, sometimes a year and a half to get a new construction home built. So those people that lack that patience are probably going to be looking more at a resale home. If you've got the time and the fortitude to wait for a home to be built, it means you're going to have a lot less competition, a lot less problem securing the home of your dreams. Next great thing about new construction, you're able to get a modern open floor plan that so many people are looking for today. You're able to get that home. Best of all, you're able to also get new granite, although granite is a million years old, but new granite, new countertops, in other words, new cabinets, new toilets, yay, new everything, new appliances, new hot water heater, air conditioner, heating system. You don't have to worry about someone else's used house that may have defects, that may have flaws, may have a hot water heater that may go out on you in a year or two. That's not something you have to worry about in new construction. Another great benefit of new construction, you may get to pick some of your design choices. Now, because the supply constraints are kind of easing up a little bit, more and more builders are allowing the buyers to pick things like flooring, countertops, cabinets, all of that sort of thing. You may literally be able to put your own personal stamp on your own future dream home. Another great benefit we're seeing right now is because there's fewer buyers out there because interest rates have gone up, builders are having to give incentives. You're seeing things like $10,000 use as you choose incentives that buyers can use to pay down their interest rate or use to pay some of their closing costs down, all of that sort of thing. It's a huge benefit you have right now if you're in the market to buy a new construction home. And also, one great benefit of buying new construction is you're able to better time the market so that if you have a home that you need to sell, you can wait until the very, very end to sell that home, versus if you're planning on buying a resale home, you're probably going to need to sell your current home first, live in temporary housing, or hope that the buyer of your current home is going to give you a rent back period where you're able to basically rent your home after closing from the future owner so that you can then wait until your resale home is ready to move into. It makes things a little bit dodgy, makes things a little bit hairy with a new construction home. Because the build time is so far out, you're able to time it so that, say, 2 months before your new construction home is done, you can put your current home on the market and pretty much have a week or 2 week buffer between selling your current home and moving into your new home. So with all those benefits out of the way, what is the process to buying a new construction home? So the very first step you need to take is make sure you do not, under any circumstances, go walk around a job site and talk to a builder or a builder representative without having your own representation first. Please know, and this is the most important part of this video, that builder representative that is very nice to you, and I know some really, really nice builder representatives. Some of my best friends are builder representatives. Those folks work for the builder. Their responsibility is to help the builder get the most money he or she can get for that builder and get their home sold in a very timely manner. Their job is not to be your best friend, it's to get you in there buying a house. So know that you need to have your own representative, your own buyer agent, before you make that contact with those agents. I have a horror story that I tell repeatedly of a client who came to us wanting our help buying a house. They just got in a day earlier than they planned. They decided to go scouting around looking for homes. Long story short, they ended up in a sales center, and before they were done, they had a contract written for them. They had design selections made. They tried to stop the process and say, well, this is great, but I need to go get my agent to have them look over this. At which point that builder representative said, oh, I'm so sorry, it's too late. You can't hire a buyer's agent now. We've gone too far through the process. Completely slimy move. A good builder representative is going to say to you, as you get through the beginning of that process, hold on, wait a minute. If you have an agent, you need to bring your agent to get them involved in this process. They would not get you down the primrose path and end up roping you into buying one of their houses. And last we heard from that client, they were not able to use us or any agent, by the way. Last we heard, they took a $900,000 home and ended up spending like $1.3 million for this home based on all the upgrades that the builder representative talked them into. So buyer beware. Just know that by hiring your own buyer representative, you're gonna be able to have an advocate there to help you out. They're gonna be able to go through the contract with you. They're gonna be able to help you find the best builder and the best plan for you. And best of all, in most cases, that builder has set aside a amount of marketing money to pay your agent with. You're not gonna have to pay most or even any of your buyer representation's commission. The builder's gonna likely do it. So definitely feel free to drive through neighborhoods and get a feel for the homes that are out there. Just know, do not talk to anyone until you have your own representation. The next step in the process is identify what you need in your new construction home. We have our buyers fill out a buyer needs questionnaire. And the main integral part of this questionnaire is them listing out all their must-haves and all their want-to-haves. Must-haves: if you have to have your primary owner's bedroom on the first floor, that is a must-have. You need to have that listed on the sheet, and you only need to look at homes that have that bedroom on the first floor. Want-to-haves would obviously be something like 42 acres of land, when really you could get by with 1/10 of an acre. But anyway, you get my point. So have your must-have list, have your want-to-have list, and use that list to find the ideal floor plan, the ideal land lot, the ideal neighborhood, and the ideal builder for you. And again, this is a great way that your agent can help you out. They probably know of a good neighborhood for you and can turn you on to it and get the whole process started in that way. So now that you've kind of gotten an idea of what your floor plan needs to be and you're kind of scouted out some builders, you next need to do your due diligence to determine if that is a good builder or not. And one of the easy ways to determine if you're talking with a good builder is to look online at the reviews. Those sites are very good. That's people who've bought from the builder, have posted a review, and if you see a lot of 1-star reviews, you know to run. Obviously, if you see a lot of 5-star reviews, you know you've got a really good builder there. So as an example of a bad builder, we had someone email us a few days ago that their builder not only hiked up the price on them here almost at the end of their build process when they're ready to move in the home, but they've also told them there has been yet another delay. These poor folks have been delayed 6 months from when the builder told them they were supposed to move in. We really feel terrible for them, but that's a prime example of a builder that is doing some shady stuff. Watch out for it by checking out their reviews yourself online and doing your due diligence on the front end. So now that you have found your ideal builder and your ideal floor plan, and you've based it on that must-haves list and your wants list that you've done with your agent, your next step is to move on and get yourself approved through one of the mortgage brokers out there. So know that the builders have their own mortgage folks that are like on their preferred lender list. These folks have affiliated with the builder, and if you use those lenders, you oftentimes can get some special incentives from the builder and from the mortgage person. Those are great things. You definitely want to talk with those lenders in particular, but we also recommend you also talk with an independent mortgage broker that may be able to give you a similar benefit, or at least be able to give you apples to apples comparison on rate, to see if that incentive that in-house lender is giving you is really truly a good incentive. Always check with independent sources and kind of verify to be able to compare the two. Next step, once you have secured your financing, you've decided what builder is good for you, floor plan is good for you, then you want to get a copy of that builder's contract. And you and your agent need to go methodically through the whole contract, checking for any red flags. I've told the story before on our channel of the builder who had in their contract that they had up to 2 years to finish the house. My clients at the time could not wait 2 years to finish the house, so we had to walk out of the sales center and go find another builder who could build their house a little more promptly. Just know that there's things buried in those contracts that you need to be aware of, and this is yet another place where your agent can help you decode some of the language, make sure that it is written, if not in your favor, at least stuff that you can put up with. The next step in the process is you also want to review the floor plan of your home that's going to be built to make sure it matches up with what your needs are. We had a buyer recently that's building a home with one of the national builders who decided, because of supply chain constraint issues, to change out a glass sliding door that my client really wanted for a operable French glass door. She wasn't terribly happy. She went ahead and went through with the house, but this was something that was on the floor plan that they did a little bait and switch and didn't let us know about. The next step in the process, you sign the builder's contract, get the process underway, and you give the builder deposit. So now that you're under contract and it's officially your house, what are the next steps? Well, the next step in many cases is going to the design center to pick out your selection. So we should stop and say there's some builders that are still, because of supply constraint issues, are still doing all of the selections ahead of time before they even start building the home. You will know that from the on-site builder representative before you even sign the contract if you get to make any selections. So let's assume you do make selections. Next step would be you go to the design center. You pick out your countertops, you pick out your flooring, cabinets, all of that sort of thing. This is yet another step where your agent is going to be very, very helpful. They're going to keep you from making selections that don't match up to your home. I like to jokingly say, if you are building a $200,000 house, you probably don't want to put $300,000 worth of upgrades into that house. You will never recoup the benefit of those upgrades when you go to sell the home. Have your agent be there with you to kind of be a sounding board to help you decide what features you really should put in the home, not only for your enjoyment, but also for future resale value. So next up, after you've made all of your design center selections, the builder gets to work building your house. And this is kind of the quiet period. The on-site representative may send you and your agent some updates as they go along. The foundation is getting prepared, all the yada, yada, yada is happening, all of that. It's not really until the framing is up that you really are going to hear from the builder again. At this period of time, this is called the pre-drywall phase. This is when framing is up and before the drywall walls are up inside of your home. This is the period of time where you should, I say should, emphasis, be able to have an independent pre-drywall inspection. That's where you hire an inspector to come in and check things over to make sure everything looks good. If the builder is refusing this and is pushing back on you, this is a major red flag. 9 out of 10 times, the builder should give you some opportunity to do this independent inspection. Again, red flag if they don't. Some builders will give you a really short window of like 2 days that this process can happen. Know that yet again, this is a great place where your buyer agent can shine, because he or she should have been talking with the on-site all along to give you a heads up and to give your inspector a heads up that it looks like next Thursday and Friday are the 2 days that we can do the inspection. That way the inspector can kind of pencil you in and block off some time. So you get that inspection done, everything is copacetic, the inspector puts a report together, you send that report on to the builder, and then at that point you have an official builder pre-drywall orientation meeting. At this orientation meeting, the builder is going to review over your inspection report. They're going to let you know if there were any problems that the inspector found, that it's been addressed or it will be addressed prior to the drywall going up. This is also the meeting where you're going to be able to tell the builder where you want the outlets to go, the electric plugs to go, the Ethernet and cable wiring to go, all of that stuff in the room that you wanted on this wall, not that wall, that sort of thing. And then again, you're going to go into a quiet phase where the builder continues building your house, and this goes on all the way until about 2 weeks before closing. At that point, the builder or the builder representative is going to let you and your agent know that it is time to do a general inspection if you so desire. And this is definitely something I recommend you do. This is where you hire an inspector to come and look over the almost completed home, verify all the systems are working correctly, electrical outlets are working, everything is good to go, and they will make a report if there are any problems. I've had many difficulties in the past trying to convince buyers that this is a good money to be spent, and oftentimes it's very difficult to convince them to spend this money until I tell the following story. I had a buyer 3 or 4 years ago buying a brand new townhome. It looked like there was not a single thing wrong with this house. The inspector filled the bathtub with water above the kitchen, and we were all standing in the kitchen, walking the kitchen over, inspecting it, when all of a sudden a waterfall came down upon the island from above. We all were shocked. Turns out the plumber, who was a vendor that the builder hired to do the plumbing work, forgot to hook up the tub pipe to the main line pipe. And so it was exposed and water was running down. It caused the drywall above our heads on the ceiling of the first floor to give way, and water was gushing down. Can you imagine if my buyer had not gotten that inspection done? They would be on a beautiful Sunday morning while the kids were upstairs in the bathtub. It'd be a beautiful Sunday morning. They'd be there making the eggs, and all of a sudden they'd be getting their own shower as water was coming down upon them. Thankfully, this was caught during the inspection period. The builder was in the neighborhood, came over, saw what was going on, called the plumber, and that afternoon, the plumber was out, fixed the pipe, drywall was fixed. You never knew anything was going on. Saved the buyer a lot of stress and a lot of hassle. That is a story I will never forget, and my hair won't forget it either. Incidentally, during this general inspection period, you also are going to want to get a radon inspection. Radon is an odorless, colorless gas which is caused from uranium in the earth decaying. I had a house in Fuquay Varina, and incidentally, Fuquay Varina typically doesn't have very much radon. My buyer did not want to get a radon test. It's about $150. They didn't see the need for it. Turns out their house was a slab foundation. The builder used gravel, and that, unbeknownst to them, had uranium mixed into it. And so this gravel, when we did our radon test, the radon levels were off the chart in this house. Not good. Luckily, it was caught during the phase before my buyers owned the house. It meant the builder had to remediate, cost them about $3,000 to remediate this radon situation. That's money my buyer didn't have to pay. Plus, on top of it, my buyer didn't get lung cancer. So, yay. Good news all around there. So the next step after you've gotten your inspections done is you have your orientation meeting with the builder. This happens a couple days after these inspections are complete. You've handed the inspection reports to the builder. They've most likely gotten most of those items already fixed, or they've got a game plan together for when it will get fixed. You go through the house with the builder. He shows you how to, or she shows you how to use the hot water heater, the stove, any things you need to know about the house. And again, obviously they've gone through the inspection report with you and let you know what's going to be handled. So that game plan has been done. You've been educated on the house. Next step in that orientation meeting is you have a blue tape session. That's where you take a roll of the blue tape that the painters use, painter's tape. You go around the house and you mark with the little piece of tape every flaw that's in the walls or in the trim work that a painter needs to come back and address. This is done by you and the builder. It takes about an hour to go through the whole house, maybe longer. The painter's going to come in the next day or a couple days after and repaint those walls that were defective in whatever way, so that way, when you get to the day of closing and you have your final walkthrough with the builder, and this is the final next step, you then can see that the wall has been painted, everything's golden. You go through the inspection report and see that all the items on the inspection report have been handled, or at least that the builder's accounted for them. Maybe you've got a window that's broken and it's on order. They've got your window on order. They're going to tell you it's going to be in next week. I had a client recently that was missing their bathtub. The builder, needless to say, did an IOU for a master bathroom bathtub. That finally did come in. Everyone's happy, yay, but it wasn't there on the day of closing. It is what it is. Everyone went through it, everybody's happy. So you've had your orientation meeting, you're happily on your way to the attorney's office where you sign all your paperwork, and depending on when all the funding hits the attorney's office is when you'll get your keys, and then you get to move into your new house. So before you get all excited and decide to build your very own dream home, let's talk about some of the negatives associated with buying new construction. So one negative is typically you're going to be buying a home that's a little bit further out from the big cities like Raleigh, Durham, Cary, Chapel Hill, the cities that are been built up over a while. You're probably going to be buying some of the outlying towns like Fuquay Varina, Apex, Holly Springs, Youngsville, Wake Forest, all of that sort of thing. So know that you may very well have a little bit of a drive time if you work in the downtowns of these cities. Next negative about buying new construction, you're more than likely going to be on a little bit smaller lot than you're going to find in some of the resale neighborhoods. Builders today, because the lots have gotten more and more expensive, are putting homes on smaller and smaller lots. So know that privacy may be at a premium, something you need to be prepared for. Next negative, we've already talked about it a little bit, you may have to wait a while for your home to be completed. Typically, most new construction homes are bought at the dirt phase or maybe at the framing stage. Likely you have 3 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year, maybe longer to wait until your home is ready. Next negative, there may be some delays on getting your home completed. Know that, again, because of supply constraint issues, labor issues, homes are not always built and done on the time frame that the builder promises you. It's not because they're being mean to you, it just is what it is. There's always delays and constraints. Always make sure you do not give up your temporary housing, if you're in temporary housing, until you're absolutely sure that you're going to be closing on this date at this hour. I've had quite a few clients in the last few years who have taken the builder at their word that their home is going to be ready on X date. At the very last minute, the builder says, oops, we're not going to be able to make X date. We're going to be making Z date, in which case my buyers have unfortunately given up their apartments already. They've had to move into very expensive temporary Airbnb type housing. Not good. You don't want to deal with that conversation with a buyer. Trust me, please wait until the very last minute to give up your rental. You're better off paying both a mortgage and a rent for a month or so than you are to be living in your car. Trust me. Another negative of new construction, if you buy in a new construction neighborhood, know you're probably going to have to put up with new construction noise and new construction dust for a year or maybe longer. Just something you need to be prepared for. The next negative you need to be aware of, when you buy new construction, you're going to get new construction landscaping, meaning instead of having big giant trees and bushes that cover up and give you privacy, you're going to get little itty bitty trees and bushes that you have to wait to grow. So be prepared for that to happen. The next negative, likely the builder is not going to be putting you in a fence for your yard. So if you have a dog or need a fence for whatever reason, know that you're going to probably have to do that yourself. Fences have lately gotten to be a little bit expensive and taken a while to get, so be prepared to budget for buying your own fence. Next negative about new construction, know that those builder contracts we talked about earlier are written to the favor of the builder. Make sure you and your agent go over them thoroughly. You don't want to get caught up in a shady builder contract. And also know, again, the builder representative works for the builder, and know that they do not work for you. Know that some shady builders may try to take advantage of you and cut corners. Definitely another reason you want to have an advocate on your side to help you out. Please don't think with all these negatives that I'm all about the doom and gloom and that all builders are terrible. I've said before many times in the past, there's some really great builders out there. Please feel free to reach out to us and we will be happy to turn you on to some good ones to make this whole process a good experience for you. And so if you're considering a move either into or out of the Triangle area, my team and I would love to be your real estate agents of choice. You can click on the link in the description below, email us at hello@mortonbradbury.com, or give us a call, 919-964-0474. As always, if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe to this video. We'd love you to do so. And with that being said, we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.